So if you want to build your own wall, you've got three choices for holes. You know, buy commercially. There's 600 holes on this wall. So the cheapest you can get a commercial hole is 10, 12, maybe $15. This one's 45, but if you buy in a pack, you know, you get around that $10 price. So to cover this wall commercially would cost me $6 grand. So people who build home walls, they're like, they balk at that. They're like, I'm not going to pay that. So then there are other two choices are to create silicon mold and then create lots of the same hold. Like this one, there's heaps of them all on the wall. Who wants lots of the same hold on your home wall? Then the other way is wooden holds. And then you've got to sand, who's going to sand 600 holds? But to set the printer going, and then when the printer finishes to come and pop it off and go and sit it in because what you do is you just sit this in a bed of sand and you pour the resin in, and as the resin, you use the resin as the level. So you don't need a level table or anything, you just level it, you move the hold and get it level. You let it set, and then you sand it and finish it. And the finish is a resin, so there's two coats of the finish. There's resin mixed with 30% sand as a base coat, and then I do clear acrylic and sieved sand with a sieve. The bolt shaft comes print in place, so it prints like that, and then you tap it out and it comes out, and then you put a washer in and just put a bit of super glue to hold that in place, and it's good to go. So the hold is the mold and the mold is the hold. And so yesterday I made about 30 holds for about an hour's work. Yeah, and that's pouring and finishing, half an hour each. So it's so easy. You're not sanding, you're not pissing off your neighbours. You're really doing minimal amount of work to create really awesome holds. And if I didn't tell you that these were 3D printed holds and got you to climb on it, you wouldn't know. You'd be like, what brand are these holds? Come and feel the texture. So there's about 6 different textures on the wall, from rough to super smooth. Yeah. So that's a silicon cast mold. That's a commercial hold. So you feel the difference between the commercial hold and some of these. You're too short, you'll have to climb. That's the commercial hold, and the one next to it's one of ours.
Nice.
So there's dual texture as well. It's really easy to do dual texture, like on this one. There's just a little bit of texture on there, but that's all slippery. Mm-hmm. And then I've done dual texture with tape here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You can even texture it while it's on the wall. Like this one here, I added a bit more texture while the hold was on the wall. Just left it like that.
Oh, nice. This is impressive. Impressive. So this is printed already also with the texture from the printer, right?
Yeah, so that's called fuzzy skin. That's well spotted. Same as that one there, that's got fuzzy skin. And just a little bit of texturing. Yeah, they are just like so much fun to climb. It really is. And they're just so strong. Like I can trust that. It's not going to break. So this particular hold, about $1.50 in plastic. And it was about $6 in resin. So $7.50 for this hold, maybe a little bit for spray paint, for the colouring. But $7 for a nice massive jug like that, compared to $45. So we're looking about 80% cheaper than commercial holds, which is, you know, insane for a home builder. And you don't have to worry about design. Like if you make your own holds out of silicon, you've got to carve the foam. You've got to come up with all these designs yourself. And that can sound like fun, but it's a bit of a nightmare really. And it's even worse when you go to wood. You end up just with all your holds kind of looking the same and very bland. Making something like this out of wood isn't really going to work as well. So you end up just with a lot of slopers and holes like that. So if you want to make a woody for cheap, like I've spent about $950 to put all these holes on the wall. And if I would have bought commercially, that'd be about $5,000 in commercial holds. So yeah, for a commercial hold equivalent for 80% cheaper, it's insane.
So how you work on the texture? Why is it so good? Is it gonna stay there for a long while?
11 secret herbs and spices.
Perfect.
It's really easy to do the texturing. What you do is you mix up some resin with some sand, about 30% sand, and you paint that on as a base coat. And that comes out like, where's the base coat one? That comes out like that. I call that Arapiles level. You know Mount Arapiles in Victoria? It's the best rock in the world. When you touch the rock in Mount Arapiles as a climber, you go, oh, it's awesome. I call this Arapiles level because Arapiles is a sandstone, but really solid. It's not brittle like normal sandstone. It's like a granite sandstone. So I call that Arapiles level, but it's very rough. My son, he doesn't like rough holds. He likes the gym sort of holds. So we refine the process to sanding from a base coat. I sand that down, a bit of sand, and then let that dry, and then a bit of clear acrylic, and with a sieve, just a bit of sieved sand on top, and then spray paint on the end. It's an incredibly simple process, very durable, and the beauty is that you can take this off and retexture it whenever you want. This hold I've had probably 20 years. I'm never going to retexture that. It's how it is forever. You could print 2 identical holds, but then texture them differently and have 2 completely different holds. You can, not this particular hold, but some holds you can mirror so that you get a different hold. But not only that, some holds come with variants of the angle. Like this hold, these holds are the same hold, but the angle changes from plus 20, plus 10 to minus 10, minus 20. So you can have the same hold be harder than, like, if a hold that you print is too easy, you can print the harder version. We're going to be continuously developing holds. We're going to be doing signature lines with top climbers as well. So yeah, it's just an easy system that it's like a platform, a hold platform that you can just print and then texture however you want. You can even drizzle. This is the drizzle method. I've just drizzled resin onto that hold. You can build up little lips with the resin. On some of the holds, I've just sat there and built up little extra features on the hold, just for shits and giggles, just to see how it goes. But the texture is amazing. We've done the Pepsi challenge. Do you know the Pepsi challenge? Back in the day, Pepsi and Coke were, oh, they still are, but they were big rivals. And they would blindfold somebody and have a glass of Pepsi and a glass of Coke, and they would say, which one's the nicest one? And people would choose Pepsi. Even though everybody's buying Coke, they would choose, in the blindfold challenge, they would choose Pepsi as the nicer Coke. Well, we've done the same with the holds. This is a 3D printed hold textured, and this is a silicon mold made from that hold, but poured in the classical way, like the way they would make a commercial hold. We've blindfolded people and said, which one's the 3D printed hold? And they always choose the casted one as the 3D printed hold, not the 3D printed hold. So the texture is almost indistinguishable. As I said before, if I invited you around to climb and didn't tell you these were 3D printed, you wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. I could probably just know about.
There's some that you can pick.
Yeah,
You know, like this.
maybe these.
Yeah.
I can see the lines. But
Yeah.
not this.
No.
No way.
Maybe that one because it's worn a bit.
Yeah.
They were first version. I did them at first early. But now, now that we've evolved the texturing, like this one there, you wouldn't pick that's a 3D printed hold.
Amazing. It's so good.
That came out smooth. That texturing is all added after I've printed it.
Yeah.
That hasn't come from the printing at all. That's all
Yeah,
post texturing.
Is it possible to do smaller texture?
Smoother?
Smoother? Yeah, like smaller sand?
Yeah, so I sieve the sand and get the smallest possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, the beauty of this is that you can actually, it brings out your creative side. You can have a lot of fun with texturing. You know, as I said, there's about 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 different types of textures on this wall. But the final one that I've set it on is that 2-step process with this. They're just, the texture is just amazing.
It's very good. Is this?
Yep.
Oh,
Oh, they have to ask.
so good. Interesting.